Hi guys, it's Shayla again from Freckle Finance. Today's video is going to be updating you on what sinking funds I have, as there has been a lot of changes since moving to California. If you're new to this channel, make sure you click that subscribe button below. I do videos on finances, financial independence, and just lifestyle videos in general. So to start off, as I mentioned in my previous video, we combined our finances and we now have one family budget as opposed to me budgeting, and as I said, my husband didn't really budget, he just didn't spend a lot. So I've added a lot more sinking funds, and sinking funds for all sorts, any possible thing I could think of to have a sinking fund that is something we will need. I've created a sinking fund for. So let's get started on what funds I have. We have 3 separate sinking funds for travel. And I know that might seem kind of excessive, but they are 3 separate categories, one of which we probably will never want to cut out, and there would just be different levels of which we would cut out if it came to the point where we couldn't afford this anymore. And so the first one is that I have a sinking fund to travel back to Canada. So this is the one to go back to Canada and visit family. The flights can be expensive. I know I ended up going over our budget for that for Christmas, but if we waited any longer, it would have been worse because I have actually been using Google flight tracking, and yes, it has never been cheaper than what we bought it at. So for that, we're putting $170.83 into the sinking fund every month, and that's basically just going to be flight and the occasional cost because we stay with family, so we don't have any other major costs for that. The second sinking fund is just for one large trip every year. What we were thinking of for this one was possibly a cruise. We were going to try to book it at a good price, and we are sinking funding $245.83 every month for that. So it will be quite a bit of money, but it won't be an extravagant travel. We won't be able to go to Europe with that amount of money. The third one is for road trips. So these are kind of long weekend trips that I want to be able to go on to Vegas or other stuff that's in this area, and that's $83.33 a month. The next category is gifts. I put $40 a month into that sinking fund, and that will cover any sort of presents throughout the year. Now we may spend more at Christmas time, that will be over and above that, but that will generally just come out of our spending money if that's the case. So the next sinking fund is our Magic Jack. It's essentially a home phone. You pay for it once a year and it works out to $3.60 a month, and that's just to ensure that that money is there for when that happens. And we don't necessarily need to have this phone. It's a bit of an extra. However, we kept our Canadian phone number, so it allows our family to call us without it being an international call. The next sinking fund is taxes to Canada. So to kind of explain why I have this sinking fund is that we are still Canadian residents. We also worked in Canada this year. So any income that we earned worldwide has to be taxed in both Canada and the US as long as we are residents of Canada. We are hoping that that won't be the case next year, but for this year, it is. As well, tax rates in California are lower than what we had to pay in Ontario, so there will be a difference. I have done payroll calculators in both Canada and the US to try to estimate how much it'll be, but there will be money owed at the end of the year, and so I am contributing to that sinking fund, so it's not going to be a hit when the time comes that we have to pay it. So it's expected, and hopefully it'll come in lower than I expect. The next sinking fund is a car payment. Essentially, we are paying ourselves back for the money we took out of our savings account in order to pay for the car. Now that is $263.86. So essentially, from our perspective, we took an interest-free loan from ourselves, and I'm using that to pay it back. And it's just a category that I'm saying that we need to put this extra on top of what we expected to save to pay for the car. And we are paying it off in a 7-year period. So that's how we figured out that price. The next category related to car is car maintenance. Now, I have no idea how much this is going to cost, and I imagine it shouldn't cost that much for a while. But just to get us started, I'm putting $65 a month into that fund, and if it ever becomes so much that I don't think we would have to have car repairs higher than that, then I will cut that out. The next sinking fund is renter's insurance. So we pay that upfront for the entire year, but we will have to pay that again next year. So I'm putting $10.58 into that fund. And the very last sinking fund is car insurance. So this was paid for a 6-month period, and paying it for the 6 month actually saved about $4 a month, so it was worth the effort to pay it all up front. So we are saving for the next time we have to pay it, and that was $66.67. So the sinking funds is definitely more elaborate than it previously was. I'm trying to make sure we have a concrete idea of how much we are going to spend in all these categories so that we know what price of a house we can buy when we do go to buy a house. So I definitely think sinking funds help with that, so it doesn't become an emergency later when it should be planned spending. And give this video a big thumbs up for proper budgeting and sinking funds. And if any of you have changed your sinking funds recently, added something, feel like maybe there's a sinking fund category that we should add that we're just not aware of yet, let me know in the comments down below. And remember, no matter what your financial situation is, make sure to have a great day. Bye.